The stars had been quiet for 900 years. That was how long humans had lived under the Peace Pact of New Geneva. That was how long they had promised to be good. General Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Terran defense ship Horizon. She was 52 years old and had spent 30 years in service. Her gray uniform was clean and simple. No weapons hung from her belt. That was the rule. Humans could defend but never attack. Through the window, she watched 3 colony ships floating in the darkness. They carried 15,000 people, families, children. They were heading to a new world called Kepler 442b. It was there right under the treaty. "General, we have a problem," said Lieutenant Park. He was young, barely 25. Kryn ships are blocking the route. Sarah felt her jaw tighten. The Kryn. They were one of the oldest species in the Galactic Confederation. They had ships that could destroy planets. They had weapons that could burn stars. And they thought humans were nothing. "How many ships?" Sarah asked. 12. Led by Overlord Thexamar. Sarah knew that name. Thexamar was cruel. He enjoyed reminding humans of their place. 900 years ago, humans had fought the Terran contact wars they had lost. They had been forced to accept the Peace Pact. No large military. No weapons research. No arguments with elder species. "Open a channel to the Kryn ships," Sarah said. The screen flickered. Overlord Thexamar appeared. He was massive, with 4 arms and skin like gray stone. His eyes glowed red. Behind him, his bridge was dark and full of weapons. "General Chen," he said. His voice sounded like grinding metal. "Your colony ships are in Kryn territory." "This is neutral space, Overlord," Sarah said calmly. "The treaty guarantees free passage." "The treaty guarantees what we allow," Thexamar said. "You humans forget your place. You are the youngest species. The weakest. You exist because we permit it." Sarah felt anger rising in her chest, but she pushed it down. She had trained for this. "Stay calm. Follow protocol." Humans were good at following rules now. "We don't want trouble," Sarah said. "We just want safe passage for our colonists." "Trouble?" Thexamar laughed. It was a terrible sound. "You could not make trouble if you tried. Turn your ships around or I will disable them." "Overlord, these are civilian ships, families, children." "I do not care." Sarah looked at her crew. They were watching her, waiting. She knew what the rule said. "Avoid conflict. Retreat if necessary. Protect human lives above all else." "Very well," she said. "We will withdraw. But I'm filing a formal protest with the Confederation Council." "File whatever you want," Thexamar said. "No one will care." Sarah was about to close the channel when Thexamar spoke again. "Wait. I want you to remember something, General. I want all humans to remember." "Remember what?" "Your place. The Kryn weapons fired." Sarah had no time to react. The blast hit the Horizon's bridge. Alarm screamed. Fire burst from the control panels. Sarah felt something heavy fall on her legs. Pain exploded through her body. "General!" Lieutenant Park was screaming. "Stay with us." Sarah tried to move. She could not feel her legs. Blood was everywhere. The bridge was destroyed, but the ship was still broadcasting. The channel to Thexamar was still open. She looked up at the screen. Thexamar was smiling. "That is how we deal with upstart species who forget their station," he said. "Let this be a lesson." Then the screen went dark. Sarah tried to speak, but no words came. She heard Park calling for medical help. She heard other voices, distant and fuzzy. Then everything went black. When Sarah woke, she was in a hospital on Earth. The room was white and clean. Machines beeped around her. She tried to sit up but could not move. A doctor came to her bedside. His face was sad. "General Chen, you need to stay still. Your spine was severely damaged. We saved your life, but what? You will never walk again." Sarah closed her eyes. The words hit her harder than any weapon. "How many died?" she asked. "On your ship?" 43 crew members. The colony ships were not harmed. They turned back. "And Thexamar?" The doctor looked away. "The Confederation is investigating." Sarah knew what that meant. Nothing. The investigation would go nowhere. The elder species protected their own. Humans were expected to accept it and move on. Over the next few days, Sarah learned the truth. The shooting had been broadcast across human space. Millions had watched it happen. They had watched Thexamar smile while Sarah lay bleeding. They had heard his words about keeping humans in their place. Ambassador Marcus Webb came to visit her. He was 60 years old with silver hair and tired eyes. He had been humanity's voice in the Confederation for 20 years. "How are you feeling, General?" he asked. "Angry," Sarah said. Webb nodded. "The whole human race is angry. But the Confederation Council refuses to punish Thexamar. They say it was a misunderstanding. They say his weapons fired by accident." "Accident?" Sarah's voice was sharp. He looked me in the eye. He smiled. "I know. But they do not care. To them we are children. We are the species that must always be controlled." "What happens now?" Webb was quiet for a moment. "That depends. On you, on humanity, on whether we accept this or not. You are asking if we should fight. I am asking if we should finally show them who we really are." Sarah thought about the 900 years of peace. Humans had accepted the treaty. They had given up their weapons. They had focused on trade, art, science. They had become the galaxy's engineers and merchants. They were everywhere, but always small, always weak, always watching the elder species with fear. But Sarah remembered something else. She remembered human history. Before the contact wars, humans had fought each other for thousands of years. They had built terrible weapons. They had mastered the art of destruction. When the elder species had defeated them, humans had not forgotten how to fight. They had simply stopped fighting. "What are you really asking me, Ambassador?" Webb leaned closer. "In 6 days, the Confederation Council will announce their final decision. They will clear Thexamar of all charges. They will tell humans to accept it and move on. If we do nothing, we stay in our cage forever. If we act, the peace pact ends." "Yes." Sarah looked at her hands. They were steady. She thought about her crew. She thought about the 43 people who died on her ship. She thought about Thexamar's smile. "Then let it end," she said. Webb nodded. "I was hoping you would say that. There are people I need you to meet. People who have been preparing for this day. For 900 years we have pretended to be weak. We have followed every rule. We have never threatened anyone. But we have also never stopped being human." "What do you mean?" "I mean we have been building, General. In secret. In the dark spaces between the stars. We have been preparing for the day when the elder species pushed us too far." Sarah felt something cold run through her. "How much have we built?" Webb smiled. It was not a happy smile. "Everything, General. We have built everything." Outside the hospital window, Earth turned slowly in space. It looked peaceful. It looked calm. But beneath the surface, something old and terrible was waking up. Something that had been sleeping for 900 years. The peace pact was about to end. And the galaxy was about to learn what humans were like when they stopped pretending to be civilized. 3 days after the Confederation Council cleared Thexamar of all charges, the first ships appeared. They came from the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Then from the dark side of Earth's moon. Then from hidden bases in the outer system. They kept coming, ship after ship after ship. Admiral James Okonkwo stood in the command center beneath Geneva. He was 48 years old and had been Sarah Chen's student 20 years ago. He had learned everything from her, including patience. "Sir, all Ghost Fleet vessels are online," reported Commander Singh. "Total count is 9,812. "Good," Okonkwo said. "Activate the Prometheus network." "Yes, sir." Around Earth and around every human colony world, thousands of satellites came to life. They had been disguised as communication arrays and weather monitors for centuries. Now they revealed their true purpose. Each one was a warfare computer. Together they formed an artificial intelligence that could fight 1,000 battles at once. The Prometheus network had one job: win wars. In the Confederation capital on Zenthar Prime, alarms started ringing. Supreme Chancellor Vothram watched the reports flooding his screens. His 3 eyes widened in shock. "This cannot be accurate," he said. "The humans only have 200 defense ships." "Chancellor, the readings are confirmed," said his military advisor. "The human fleet is nearly 10,000 vessels strong. And their technology, it is beyond ours. Impossible." The Peace Pact limited their research. They agreed to no weapons development. They agreed to no weapons deployment, Chancellor. They said nothing about research. For 900 years they have been studying, building, waiting. Vothram felt cold fear creep through him. The humans had tricked them. All of them. On Earth, in a secret facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Scientists opened the doors to Project Thanatos. The weapons inside were designed by the best minds humanity had ever produced. They were weapons that broke the laws of physics. Weapons that could erase matter from existence. Weapons so terrible that humans had promised themselves never to build them. Until now. Dr. Elizabeth Shaw was the head scientist. She was 60 years old and had spent her entire life on this project. She had never wanted to see these weapons used, but she had always known this day might come. "Begin production," she ordered. "All quantum displacement warheads. We need 1,000 units within the week." "Doctor," said a young scientist, "do you think we will actually use them?" Shaw looked at him. "I hope not. But hope is not a strategy. The elder species think we are weak. We need to show them the truth." "What is the truth?" "That humans are only peaceful when we choose to be." In the hospital, Sarah Chen watched the news reports on her screen. The whole galaxy was in shock. Human ships were appearing everywhere. Weapons that should not exist were being revealed. The elder species were panicking. Sarah's door opened. Ambassador Webb entered with another man. He was tall and thin with dark skin and intelligent eyes. "Admiral Okonkwo," General Okonkwo said. He saluted. "It is good to see you awake." "James," Sarah said. She had trained him herself. "What have you done?" "What you taught me to do. I prepared. The Peace Pact was always going to break someday. I made sure we would be ready when it did." "How long have you been building this fleet?" 400 years. Every generation added more. We built the ships in secret facilities, asteroid mines that were really shipyards, colony worlds that were really weapon factories. We never stopped being ready for war, General. We just stopped talking about it. Sarah felt a strange mix of pride and horror. Humanity had been planning this for centuries. They had fooled the entire galaxy. "What happens now?" she asked. "That depends on you," Webb said. "The Confederation will respond, probably with force. They cannot allow humans to have this much power. We need someone to lead us, someone they already know, someone who can show them we are serious. I cannot even walk." "We have built you something better than legs," Okonkwo said. They showed her the combat exoskeleton. It was a marvel of engineering. Silver metal that moved like muscle, powered by a fusion core. With it, Sarah could walk. She could run. She could fight. "Will you lead us?" Webb asked. "Will you show them what happens when they push humanity too far?" Sarah looked at the exoskeleton. Then she looked at her hands. She thought about Theximar, about his smile, about the 43 crew members who died because one alien thought humans were beneath him. "Yes," she said, "I will lead. But I want one thing clear. We do not start this war, they did. We are just finishing it." "Understood, General." 2 days later, Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the new flagship Retribution. The exoskeleton felt strange at first, but within hours it felt natural. She could move again. She could stand tall. "General, we are receiving a transmission from the Confederation fleet," said Lieutenant Park. He had survived the attack on the horizon. Now he served on the Retribution. Put it on screen. The face that appeared made Sarah's blood boil. Overlord Theximar. He was commanding a fleet of 500 ships heading toward Earth. It was meant to be a show of force. A threat. "Surrender or be destroyed, General Chen," Theximar said. "I see you survived." "How unfortunate." "Overlord," Sarah said. Her voice was calm and cold. "You are in violation of Earth space. Turn your fleet around, or what? You will file another protest?" He laughed. "I am here to remind you of reality. The Confederation has 50,000 ships. You have 10,000. Your little rebellion ends now. Surrender, and we will be merciful." "I have a better idea," Sarah said. "You have 72 hours to surrender yourself for trial, for the murder of my crew, for the attack on peaceful vessels. After 72 hours we respond." Theximar stared at her. Then he laughed again. "You are insane. You cannot win this war. We are not trying to win, Overlord. We are trying to teach you a lesson. You think humans are weak because we chose peace. You are about to learn the difference between choosing peace and being forced into it. Threatening me will not work, human. That was not a threat. It was a warning. 72 hours, Overlord. Surrender, or learn why humans terrified themselves so much that we agreed to 900 years of peace." Sarah cut the transmission. "General," Park said quietly, "can we really fight the entire Confederation?" "No," Sarah said honestly, "but we do not need to fight all of them. We just need to make them fear us. Fear is more powerful than any weapon. She turned to face her crew. For 900 years, we have been told we are weak. We have been pushed aside, treated like children. Today, that ends. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity truly is. Not monsters, not conquerors, but a species that will not be bullied, a species that will not bow. Are you with me? The crew erupted in affirmation. Every voice joined together. Sarah felt the weight of command settle on her shoulders. She had led defense missions before. But this was different. This was war. Across human space, the message went out. Humanity had drawn a line. The elder species had crossed it. Now there would be consequences. In his flagship, Thexamar dismissed the threat. Humans were bluffing. They had to be. They were merchants and artists, not warriors. They would surrender when they saw his fleet's power. He was wrong. The 72-hour countdown began. The galaxy held its breath. Some species called for peace talks. Others called for humanity to be crushed completely. Most just watched and waited. None of them knew the truth. For 900 years, humans had been building, researching, preparing. They had created weapons that could end worlds, ships that could appear and disappear like ghosts, battle computers that could outthink any alien mind. The Peace Pact had kept humanity calm. But it had also given them time to perfect the art of war without distractions, time to become something the galaxy had never seen before. The countdown continued. Sarah Chen watched the clock and prepared her orders. In 72 hours, the galaxy would change forever. The long peace was ending, and the galaxy was about to learn that sleeping giants wake up angry. The 72 hours passed like centuries. The galaxy watched and waited. Most did not believe humans would act. They were the peaceful species. The merchants. The ones who always backed down. They were about to learn how wrong they were. On the last hour of the countdown, 3 human ambassadors visited 3 different species. These were the friends humanity had made over 9 centuries. The Talari, who traded with Earth. The Vosh, who loved human art. The Minari, who studied human science. Ambassador Chen, Sarah's younger sister, met with the Talari Council on their ocean world. "Leave your home system," she said quietly. "Take your people and go, please." "Why?" asked Council Leader Tharn. "What is happening?" "War, real war. The kind that ends worlds. We do not want you caught in it. You have been good to us. We are warning you." Tharn looked at her with his wide, kind eyes. "The Confederation will destroy you. Maybe, but maybe not. Either way, do not be here when it starts." The Talari left their home system that night. They did not understand why, but they trusted humans. In Earth orbit, Overlord Thexamar's fleet waited. 500 ships, each one massive and powerful. He was confident. Humans would surrender or die. "Overlord, we are receiving a transmission," said his communications officer. "From the humans? Are they surrendering?" "No, sir. They are apologizing." "Put it through." Admiral Okonkwo appeared on screen. "Overlord Thexamar, we regret to inform you that we cannot accept your generous offer of mercy. We must decline. Then you choose death, perhaps. But first we choose to demonstrate something. You see, Overlord, you shot General Chen because you thought we were weak. You thought we could not respond. We want to correct that misunderstanding. Correct it how? Like this, the transmission ended. Thexamar felt a moment of confusion. Then his sensors went crazy. Around his fleet, space itself seemed to tear open. Ships appeared. Not 10 or 20. Hundreds. They materialized from nowhere, surrounding the Kryn fleet completely. Ghost fleet vessels emerging from quantum stealth. "How?" Thexamar whispered. "Sir, we are completely surrounded," his tactical officer said, reading 800 human vessels. "Their weapons are hot. Fire!" Thexamar screamed. "Destroy them all." The Kryn fleet opened fire, but the human ships moved like nothing Thexamar had ever seen. They dodged and weaved through space. Their weapons fired back with precision. Each shot found its target. The battle lasted 4 minutes. When it ended, 500 Kryn ships were destroyed. Not damaged. Destroyed. Turned into expanding clouds of debris. The human fleet had not lost a single vessel. Not one. Okonkwo's face appeared again on Thexamar's emergency pod screen. The Overlord's flagship was gone. He was floating in space in an escape capsule. "We could have killed you too, Overlord," Okonkwo said. "But General Chen wanted you alive. She wanted you to watch what comes next. She wanted you to understand." "Understand what?" That humanity tried peace. You chose war. Now you get to see what we are really like. Across the galaxy, 12 human fleets moved simultaneously, each one headed toward a different Kryn military base. The Kryn Empire had thought themselves untouchable. They were about to learn otherwise, but the real terror was still coming. In the Kryn home system, alarms were ringing. The Emperor himself, ancient and powerful, watched as human ships entered his space. But they were not attacking. They were broadcasting a warning. "People of the Kryn homeworld," came General Chen's voice. "6 objects are approaching your planet. They are moving at 90% the speed of light. They are asteroids we launched 3 days ago. They will impact your planet in exactly 6 hours. You have that long to evacuate. We recommend you start now." The broadcast ended. Chaos erupted across the Kryn homeworld. "This is insane," the Emperor roared. "They cannot destroy an entire planet." "Sire, our sensors confirm it," said his science advisor. 3 asteroids, each 1 kilometer wide, moving at relativistic speed. "If they impact, I know what happens. Send the fleet. Intercept them." The Kryn fleet scrambled. 2,000 ships rushed to protect their homeworld. But they were too late. The asteroids had been launched days ago, before the war even started. Humans had planned this from the beginning. Scientists tried to calculate intercept points. They could not. The asteroids were too fast. Any attempt to destroy them would just create thousands of relativistic fragments. The damage would be worse. "We cannot stop them," the science advisor said quietly. The Emperor stared at the screen. His homeworld. Billions of people. 6 hours. "Begin the evacuation," he said. The Kryn people had 6 hours to leave their homeworld. It was chaos. Ships packed with refugees fled into space. Not everyone made it. Some stayed behind, refusing to believe it was real. Others simply ran out of time. When the asteroids hit, the impact was visible from 3 star systems away. Each one struck with the force of 1 billion nuclear weapons. The atmosphere ignited. The oceans boiled. The crust cracked and bled magma. In one day, the Kryn homeworld became a dead rock. 2 billion people escaped. 400 million did not. Sarah Chen watched from the retribution. She felt sick. This was what war really was. Not clean battles in space. Not honor and glory. Just death on a scale that crushed the soul. "General," Park said quietly, "are you all right?" "No," Sarah said honestly. "I will never be all right again." But this had to be done. They needed to understand that we are not toys, not pets, not their servants. She activated a galaxy-wide broadcast. Every species would hear this message. "People of the galaxy," she began. "Today, humanity destroyed the Kryn homeworld. We gave them 6 hours to evacuate. Most made it. Some did not. We regret every single death, but we do not regret our actions. For 900 years, we kept the peace. We followed your rules. We accepted your control. We did this because we believed in peace, but you mistook our peace for weakness. Overlord Thexamar shot me because he thought humans could not respond. Because he thought we were beneath him. Today we taught him otherwise. This war was not our choice, but we will finish it. Any species that attacks humanity or our allies will face the same response. We do not want to be conquerors. We do not want an empire. We just want respect. Give us that and we will stop. Refuse and we will continue. The choice is yours." The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, species watched in horror. Humans had destroyed an entire planet. They had killed hundreds of millions. They had done it in a single day. Some species immediately withdrew from the Confederation. They wanted no part of this war. Others called for unity. Humanity must be stopped before they destroyed everything. But many species just felt fear. The humans had been living among them for 9 centuries. Quiet, peaceful, helpful. No one had known what they were really capable of. In the ruins of Thexamar's escape pod, recovered by a Confederation rescue ship, the Overlord stared at nothing. His empire was broken. His homeworld was gone. His people were refugees, all because he had smiled when he shot a human general. "They were supposed to be weak," he whispered. "They were supposed to be nothing." But humans had never been nothing. They had just been patient. They had waited. They had prepared. They had given the elder species 900 years to treat them with respect. The elder species had failed. Now the galaxy would pay the price. The war had truly begun, and humanity was just getting started. In her command chair, Sarah Chen closed her eyes. She thought about the 400 million Kryn who died. She thought about her crew who died on the horizon. She thought about all the death that was coming. Is it worth it? Park asked quietly. I do not know, Sarah said. But I know this. We will never be helpless again. We will never be victims again. Whatever happens next, the galaxy will remember that humanity cannot be pushed without pushing back. The Retribution turned toward the next target. Behind it, the Ghost Fleet followed. The war was spreading, and humanity showed no signs of stopping. The destruction of the Kryn homeworld sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Within 3 days, 15 species formed a military coalition. Their goal was simple: stop humanity before they destroyed everything. Admiral Zexthon of the Varax Empire took command. He was the most decorated military leader in galactic history. He had won 43 campaigns. He had never lost a battle. Humans are skilled at ambush, he told the coalition leaders. They fight like assassins. But they cannot win a direct war. We will overwhelm them with numbers. The coalition assembled a fleet of 25,000 warships. It was the largest military force in recorded history. Ships from 15 different species, all united against humanity. They chose their target carefully, Proxima Centauri. It was humanity's oldest colony. 4 billion people lived there. If the coalition could take it, humanity would be forced to negotiate. Zexthon was confident. Humans had 10,000 ships at most. The coalition had 25,000. The math was simple. He was about to learn that humans did not fight with math. The coalition fleet arrived in the Proxima system expecting resistance. What they found was hell. Sir, sensors are picking up objects, reported his tactical officer. Thousands of them, surrounding the planet. What kind of objects? Defensive platforms. At least 10,000. All armed, all active. Zexthon felt a flicker of concern. 10,000 platforms? Where did humans get the resources? No matter, he said. We have the numbers. All ships open fire. The coalition fleet opened fire on the platforms. That was their first mistake. The platforms fired back, but not with normal weapons. They used swarm tactics. Each platform released thousands of small drones. Smart drones. Drones that thought and moved like living creatures. Sir, the drones are adapting to our fire. They are learning our patterns. Impossible. Artificial intelligence warfare is banned by galactic law. The humans do not seem to care about galactic law anymore, sir. The drone swarms tore through the coalition fleet like locusts. They moved too fast to track. They attacked weak points that should not have been known. They coordinated in ways that seemed impossible. The Prometheus network was living up to its design. It was fighting 1,000 battles at once, learning from every exchange, getting smarter with every second. All ships fall back to defensive formation, Zexthon ordered, but falling back did not help. The human ships arrived then. Not 10,000, more, many more. They came from every direction at once. Ships that could appear and disappear. Ships that moved faster than sensors could track. Ships with weapons that ignored shields. The battle lasted 8 hours. When it ended, the coalition had lost 8,000 ships. The humans had lost 3. Not 3,000. 3. Zexthon evacuated his remaining forces. He had never felt fear like this before. How could humans be this advanced? How could they have hidden this technology for 900 years? The answer was simple. Humans had not hidden it. They had built it in secret. Generation after generation working toward this moment, creating weapons too terrible to use, until someone gave them a reason. Across the galaxy, the war spread like fire. Humans did not just defend, they attacked. They hunted. They struck military targets with surgical precision. Shipyards burned, weapon facilities exploded, supply lines were cut. But humans never touched civilian targets, not once. Every strike was carefully planned to minimize innocent deaths. This was not genocide. This was a lesson. 8 species defected from the Confederation. They declared neutrality and opened peace talks with humanity. 12 more declared they would not fight. They had seen what happened to the Kryn. They wanted no part of it. In a quiet moment, Sarah Chen sat in her quarters on the Retribution. She was looking at casualty reports. Human casualties were minimal. Enemy casualties were massive. It should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like horror. Ambassador Webb visited her. He looked older than before. The weight of war aged everyone. How are you holding up? He asked. I am not, Sarah said honestly. We have killed millions, Marcus, millions. Yes, we warned them first. Yes, we gave them chances to surrender, but they are still dead. The galaxy thought we were weak, Webb said. We had to show them otherwise. By becoming monsters? No. By becoming what we always were, humans. We are not saints, Sarah, we never were. We are a species that nearly destroyed itself 100 times before we even reached the stars. The Peace Pact did not change us. It just put us to sleep. Maybe we should have stayed asleep. Maybe. But they woke us up. They shot you and smiled about it. What did they expect? Sarah had no answer. She just felt tired. So tired a young ensign knocked on her door. He was barely 20 years old. Fresh from the academy. General, may I ask you something? Of course. Are we the bad guys? Sarah looked at him for a long moment. I do not know. We are fighting for the right reasons. We were attacked first. We gave them every chance to stop. But that does not change what we have done. History will judge us. Maybe as heroes, maybe as villains, probably as both. Does that bother you? Every single day. But it does not stop me. Because if we stop now, everything we have done was for nothing. We have to finish this. We have to make the galaxy understand that humanity will not be bullied. Then maybe we can finally have real peace. The ensign nodded and left. Sarah turned back to her reports. The war continued. The coalition fractured. Some species wanted to keep fighting. Others wanted peace. The Galactic Confederation, which had ruled for 10,000 years, was falling apart. The Kryn Empire, once proud and mighty, was broken. Their homeworld was dead. Their fleet was destroyed. Overlord Theximar was in a human prison waiting for trial. His people were refugees dependent on others for survival, but some species refused to surrender. The Verax, the Zinth, the Karathi. They gathered their remaining fleets. They planned one final strike, not against a colony, against Earth itself. If we can destroy their homeworld, argued the Verax Chancellor, they will break. They will surrender. We can end this. It was a desperate plan, a foolish plan, but they saw no other choice. Humanity had to be stopped. They assembled a fleet of 12,000 ships, everything they had left. They plotted a course to Earth. They prepared for a final, desperate battle. But humans had something the coalition did not. The Prometheus network. It saw everything. It tracked every ship. It predicted every move. When the coalition fleet jumped toward Earth, they found humanity waiting. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Retribution. Around her, the entire Ghost Fleet had assembled. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. They are coming to kill 4 billion people, she said to her crew. Our families, our friends, our home. Today we show them why that was a mistake. The coalition fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel expecting a surprise attack. Instead, they found an armada, thousands of human ships in perfect formation, defensive platforms by the millions. The entire might of humanity focused on one point. This is General Sarah Chen to the coalition fleet, she broadcast. You have come to attack Earth, you will fail. Turn back now and we will let you live. Continue and we will destroy every single ship. Your choice. You have 1 minute, the coalition commanders argued. Some wanted to attack. Others wanted to flee. In the end, pride won over wisdom. Attack, ordered the Verax Chancellor. It was the last order he ever gave. The battle lasted 30 minutes. The coalition fleet was annihilated. Not a single ship escaped, not one. Sarah watched it happen with dead eyes. Thousands more dead, thousands more families destroyed, all because no one would stop. General, Park said quietly, they are requesting peace talks. All remaining species. They want to negotiate surrender. Sarah nodded slowly. Then it is over. Is it, though? Even if they surrender, can we ever go back to peace? No, Sarah said. We cannot. We have shown them what we are. They will never forget, and neither will we. The war was ending, but the scars would last forever. The peace talks began on a neutral station called Haven. It floated in empty space between territories. Representatives from 31 species gathered there. All of them defeated, all of them afraid. Sarah Chen arrived in her combat exoskeleton. She walked into the chamber and every alien eye turned to her. They looked at her with fear, with hatred, with respect. She was the general who had broken the galaxy. Let us begin, said Ambassador Webb. The negotiations were complex. The old Galactic Confederation was dead. Something new had to take its place. But what? Who would lead? Who would enforce the rules? Humanity should lead, said the Talari representative. They have proven their strength. No, Sarah said firmly. We will not rule. That is not what this war was about. Then what was it about? Asked the Zinth ambassador. His species had lost 3 billion people. His voice shook with anger. Respect, Sarah said simply. For 900 years you treated us like children. You told us where we could go, what we could build, how we could live. You shot me because you thought we could not fight back. This war taught you otherwise. That is all we wanted. You wanted respect? The Zinth ambassador stood up, trembling. You destroyed planets. You killed billions. Was that respect? We gave the Kryn 6 hours to evacuate, Sarah said calmly. We warned them. Most survived. What would Thexamar have given my people? What would he have given Earth if he had reached it? Nothing, no warning, no mercy, just death. The chamber fell silent. They knew she was right. The elder species had ruled through fear for thousands of years. They had kept younger species weak. Now the youngest species had shown them what real fear was. So what happens now? Asked the Verax representative quietly. Now we build something better, Webb said. A coalition based on equality, where every species has a voice, where might does not equal right. And who enforces this equality? Humanity, Sarah said. We will maintain a fleet. We will patrol the galaxy. We will ensure no species can threaten another. Not because we want power, but because we must. You proved that you cannot be trusted with absolute power. Someone has to watch. You are making yourselves dictators. No, we are making ourselves guardians. There is a difference. Dictators rule for themselves. Guardians protect others. We will protect you. All of you. Even the ones we fought. It took 3 weeks, but the treaty was finally signed. The Galactic Coalition for Peace. 31 species agreed to equal representation. Humanity would maintain the military force needed to keep the peace. But they would not rule. They would not conquer. They would just watch. 12 species refused to sign. They formed the Independent Alliance. They would govern themselves, have no contact with others. Humanity accepted this. Freedom included the freedom to be alone. 4 species retreated completely. They sealed their borders and spoke to no one. The trauma of war had broken them. Humanity did not push. Healing took time. When it was done, Sarah Chen retired. She left the military. She left Earth. She went to a monastery in the mountains of New Tibet, a human colony world far from everything. There, she tried to find peace. But peace was hard to find. Every night she dreamed of burning ships, of dying planets, of the 400 million Kryn who did not escape in time, of all the others who died because she gave the order. One day a visitor arrived at the monastery. It was a Kryn, a female young with the gray skin and red eyes of her species. She wore simple clothes. She carried no weapons. Sarah met her in the garden. They sat on a stone bench overlooking the valley. I am Krath, the Kryn said. My family died when your asteroids hit our homeworld. My parents, my siblings, my children. Sarah felt her heart break again. I am sorry. Are you? Yes, every single day. But I would do it again if I had to. That does not make it right. It just makes it necessary. Krath was quiet for a long time. I came here to kill you, she said finally. Sarah did not move. I understand, but I cannot. Because you gave us 6 hours. Thexamar would have given us nothing. My uncle survived because of your warning. He told me that Thexamar would have destroyed Earth without a word, without a thought. He smiled when he shot you. I remember. I hate you, General Chen. I will always hate you. My children are dead because of you. But I also understand you. You were attacked. You responded. That is what species do. That is what war is. Does understanding help? No, nothing helps. But it means I do not have to kill you. I can let you live with what you did, just as I must live with what was done to me. Krath stood up and walked away. Sarah watched her go. She hoped the young Kryn would find peace someday. She doubted she ever would. 50 years passed. Sarah Chen lived quietly in her monastery. She wrote her memoirs. She taught young monks about the cost of war. She tried to make sense of what she had done. Humanity changed during those years. They were no longer the quiet merchants. They were the galaxy's protectors. The Long Watch, they called their fleet. It patrolled every system. It stopped conflicts before they started. It reminded everyone that war had consequences. Some species resented this. Others were grateful. Most just accepted it. The galaxy was at peace. It was not perfect peace. It was enforced peace, but it was better than war. Admiral James Okonkwo, now an old man, visited Sarah in her final year. "General," he said, sitting beside her, "how do you feel about what we did?" Sarah was 78 years old now. Her hair was white. Her face was lined, but her eyes were still sharp. "I feel nothing," she said. "I have felt everything for 50 years. Guilt, pride, horror, satisfaction. Now I am just tired." "Did we do the right thing?" "I do not know. We did what we thought we had to do. History will judge us. History is judging us. They are building a memorial on Earth. They want to put your statue there." Sarah laughed bitterly. "A statue for what? For killing billions? For saving humanity? For teaching the galaxy that we could not be pushed?" "And what did we learn, James? Did we learn anything?" Okonkwo was quiet. "We learned that we are capable of terrible things, but we are also capable of choosing peace. We had all the power. We could have conquered everything. We did not. That has to mean something." Perhaps. The memorial was built after Sarah died. It stood in Geneva, where the Peace Pact had been signed 900 years before. Two statues faced each other, General Sarah Chen and Overlord Thexamar. Between them a wall carved with names. Billions of names. Everyone who died in the war. The inscription read, "Remember peace. Remember the price of breaking it. Remember we are all capable of both." Humans brought their children there. They taught them about the war, about how it started, about what it cost. They taught them to never forget. Other species came too. Kryn, whose homeworld was still being rebuilt. Pharax, who lost their military pride. Zinth, who lost billions. They stood before the memorial and remembered. One day, 50 years after the memorial was built, a human child and a Kryn child played together at its base. A teacher watched them. "Teacher," asked the human child, "why did they shoot the general?" "Because they forgot that peace requires respect," the teacher said. "They thought humanity was weak. They learned otherwise. But we are strong now," the Kryn child said.
"Why do we not rule?"
"Because being strong does not mean being in charge. It means protecting those who are weaker. That is what General Chen taught us. Will we forget?" the human child asked. The teacher looked at the memorial, at the billions of names carved in stone, at the statues of Chen and Thexamar forever facing each other, at the reminder of what happens when peace breaks. "We must never forget," she said. Above them, human ships patrolled the stars, the Long Watch maintaining the peace that had been bought with so much blood. They would continue for centuries, for millennia, for as long as necessary. Humanity had learned what they were capable of, both the terrible and the good. They had chosen to be guardians instead of conquerors. It was not perfect. It would never be perfect, but it was better than the alternative. The galaxy had shot the woman general. The peace that had lasted 900 years had ended. War had come and gone, leaving scars that would never heal. But now there was a new peace, not enforced by treaties, not maintained by fear, but protected by those who remembered the cost of losing it. And humanity, the youngest species, the ones who had been treated like children, now watched over them all, not as masters, as guardians, forever vigilant, forever remembering, forever making sure the galaxy never forgot what happens when you push too far.